Call the cable 465-2588 and come experience the value.
No. Hey, welcome to episode 73 of Only Good News. My goodness, it's I'm talking to the mic. Episode 73 of Only Good News. Thank you guys for tuning in. And last week I wasn't here. I was doing some self-care stuff. It was a bit of a rough week, and I decided to take some time and slow down a bit. And so now I'm fully replenished. And those of you who are listening, you can share the live, like we like to say in these parts. Share the live, share the live. We want more volume. So I'm about to do that on my page, and you guys can do the same on yours. So this week was International Women's Day, Women's Month, Women's everything, and we saw so many people paying tribute to so many of our women, and it was very touching. And for me, I did a little thingamajig on the Stuffy Facebook page. That's the little startup that I'm doing where I'm turning kids' art into digital form. But it was really good to see all the women who were highlighted and affirmed for who they are. It felt Mother's Day-ish. This year just felt bigger than last year. I guess maybe because we're celebrating the fact that we're kind of COVID-free, But anyway, what I realized is that we tend to focus on a lot of the women who are out there, women who have done things that everyone can see, and sometimes the stories of people behind the scenes are rarely told. So I'm going to start my segment with highlighting two women that I know that I just feel their stories have to be told. They need to be affirmed for what they do, because they may not be out there telling their story, and people may not be out there telling their stories. The first one, and I messaged her earlier, but she didn't respond, but she doesn't know I'm going to talk about her today. The first person I'm going to talk about goes by the name of Cassie Martinborough. And why is this person relevant? I met Cassie in 2013. Back then I was the IT manager at Kitchen Hill. And we had to do this whole job fair thing, and I created this whole online sign-up process and databases for interviewing and everything. And Cassie came and interviewed to be, I think, a server in the kitchen area. That's what she came in to do. She came in to interview to be a server. And I think she started there for the first few weeks, and then a position became open or something happened, and she needed to come down and start assisting the HR director with HR stuff. And so she got transferred to doing HR stuff. And she kept doing that for years until the HR director left, and Cassie grew into the HR manager at her young age. Here she was doing recruiting, interviewing, hiring, firing, meeting, everything, the whole works. And she came in as a server. But not only that, but when Cassie left a couple years ago, she's now an executive assistant at Ross University. But that's not the value of the story. Cassie is now an entrepreneur who has Yummy Yum cupcakes or Yummy Yum treats. I can't remember the name of the business, where she's doing cheesecake and selling them to make money and to make people smile, because I love cheesecake. And that started, again, because she hosted a family get-together. She did a small strawberry cheesecake, and everybody loved it. And boom, before you know it, now Cassie has a full-blown business. But she didn't stop there. Cassie also has K's Rent and Lease for Less. She has a car rental business. Now, this is someone who came and started at that level of being a server and now has emerged into this entrepreneur who's a force to be reckoned with. That's Cassie's story. So you deserve to be recognized for all the hard work you've put in and all the stuff that you've done. She's a mother of one, Kianja. Lucky little girl to have a mother who is such a big entrepreneur. And also Kianja is becoming one of such herself, who is lovely, who's an amazing artist. That's another creative that we are breeding. So kudos to you, Cassie. I know you're not listening because you didn't respond to my message, but you're going to hear this and someone's going to tell you about it. Okay? And the second person I'm going to talk about, and I had this conversation with her earlier this week. I was like, we don't tell the stories of people who are not doing things that are out there in the limelight. And I said, you know what? I think I will tell her story. And that is Sulika Creaky. In 2009, she started S Model Management and I think boot camp. And that was with the aim of changing the fashion game and the modeling industry in St. Kitts. You know, she had like a whole boot camp. By the way, our swimsuit pageant person who won this year was at that boot camp. 15-year-old at the time, Ngozi Nichols. And Sulika changed the game in her own way when it came to the modeling scene. But not just that. She used her expertise in journalism to be able to get interviews with people, tell people's stories, let their names, let their voices be heard. She gave a voice to the voiceless, and sometimes got in trouble for that, I think. But as she's currently making an impact with the St. Kitts Department of Youth Empowerment, what you don't know is that when we see stuff like talented teens and pictures that are on their Facebook page, there's someone behind a lot of these things that are going on. When you see bios that are written, there's someone who takes time to sit down and get the stories and write them. And also this week, I think she was invited to talk to teachers, and then now she's impacting our lives. Again, we don't know this, we don't affirm this enough, but I'm pretty sure some of us have who started cooking more during the pandemic got more revenue, more profits because of the Kitty Nivy foodies page that she started, I think over a year ago, that has now ballooned to over 1,000 members. And that's how she's impacting lives. And so her story deserves to be told. She deserves to be affirmed for the impact that she has had on lives of young people way back when. And that has translated to what she's doing now. So there's two local women whose stories deserve to be told. All right? I don't know. Well, I don't think she's listening either, but that's okay. She'll hear it at some point. Okay? So we're going to talk about 3 pieces of good news centered around Ukraine, actually, because there's a lot of bad news that's taking place about Ukraine. But would you know that people around the world are booking Airbnbs, rooms in Ukraine, and not intending to stay there? Just raising millions for people who are under siege. From March 2nd to March 3rd, people from all over the world booked 61,000 nights in Ukraine cities via Airbnb. Likely not one ever planning to check in or reschedule. It's part of a creative social media campaign to channel funds into besieged cities where something like aid drops or supply trucks can't reach, and it has seen $1.9 million raised for Ukrainians in just those 48 hours. Talk about good news, man. In the Ukraine's capital of Kiev, Volodymyr Bodnarenko had 10 people book into his room in a single day. This was very surprising. It's a very supportive at the moment, the 36-year-old said. I told many of my relatives and friends that I plan to use this money to help our people who need it at this time. Airbnb has said that it is offering temporary housing in neighboring countries to up to 100,000 Ukrainians who are fleeing. It is also waiving guest and host fees in the country to support individuals donating. We are so humbled by the inspiring generosity for our community during this moment of crisis, a company spokesperson said. He asked those willing to help by hosting Ukrainians or donating to their efforts by visiting the Airbnb website to find additional ways to support or just provide information. I love that. All right, that was good news there. Next one here. I like this one here. It says, Ukrainian soldiers adopt freezing puppy and now Rambo stands guard for them. Sweet. It's not all doom and gloom in the trenches in Ukraine. Sometimes it heads pats and bellies of rubs of gratitude. Now, that's the scene for one platoon of Ukrainian troops that adopted a stray dog. We took him into our post and he stayed with us, one soldier said. We felt sorry for him. It was freezing outside, so we decided to name him Rambo. He is security. That's his job, said one man, gesturing to the 8-inch tall puppy, curiously hopping around, wondering what the camera crew was doing. The soldiers said that little Rambo was so small when they found him, he fit right into the palm of their hand. Now, beyond Rambo, a number of adult dogs also frequent the trenches, warming themselves near the cabins at night and wandering about during the day when they all, the soldier explained, can hear if a stranger is coming and give alert. Yes, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. I like this. So yeah, that was a good feel-good story about Ukraine and dogs and puppies. All right, last one here. Former Marine drove 1,000 miles to Ukraine border in a minibus loaded with supplies and toys and blankets for refugees. A former UK Royal Marine has loaded a 16-seater minibus with sleeping bags, pillows, and toys for refugees moving across the Ukrainian border into Poland and pledged to drive 1,000 miles personally to deliver them. 31-year-old Tim Littledyke from Lyme Regis began his journey on the 20th of February, saying that he was inspired to act after seeing pictures of families broken and separated by the conflict. Setting up a fundraiser, it took him just 12 hours to fill his minibus with supplies and collect over £4,000 in donations for the trip. He says, too often do we think that we have to do something grand, and if it can't be grand, what's the point? See what he did there. Doesn't matter what we do as long as we're doing something, it's in the right direction. There's so many of us who want to help, and it will all build into this gigantic thing. And it will take his cargo through England, France, Germany, and Poland before arriving at the border, where an alleged 500,000 refugees have fled. And after he's done the unloading of the supplies, he plans to utilize the bus to give rides to people who have a place to stay. Good job, man. Good job, man. We appreciate you. We appreciate you, Mr. Little Dyke. Actually, we're going to change your name to Big Dyke. On that note, we're going to take a quick break, and after that, we're going to create some amazing energy in the studio with my guest. We'll be right back.
Experience the value. Get the cable's value bundle today. Internet, Ultra TV, free HBO Max, and a free Cable Platinum Loyalty MasterCard for only $157 monthly. Feel the thrill of 74 channels of Ultra TV. Feel the rush of the cable's 35 megabyte Bolt Internet. Maximum streaming entertainment is free with HBO Max and the ultra convenience of the Platinum Loyalty MasterCard. Shop, save, share, and don't forget, get a free internet upgrade when you pay your cable bills with Platinum Loyalty MasterCard. Not a cable customer? Sign up today and get more out of your internet, TV, shopping, and payment experience. The cable's value bundle, Ultra TV, internet, free HBO Max, and Platinum Loyalty MasterCard at $250 value for only $157 per month. Call the cable 465-2588 and come experience the value.
And we're back. We're back, and I hope we can see my guest. Where's the intro? Oh, I can see you. Sweet.
I've been waiting.
You've been waiting. I like that. So, yeah, this little intro here is just for you, man. We can't hear it. I'm hearing like a multiplicity of two songs. Because you're in New York. Can you?
I'm in New York. I'm in Harlem, New York. Live and direct.
Big whoop. Welcome to the show, Nicole. Now, I don't know how to pronounce your last name. I know it sounds Dutchish or something, so help me out
My
with
last name is DeWeaver.
the
My
Weaver.
first name is Nicole DeWeaver, yes.
Nicole
So my full name
DeWeaver.
is Nicole DeWeaver, yes.
Okay. Now, I know you had asked me how to pronounce my name, but let's have you try.
I think it's unfair actually because you just asked me to pronounce my name. So I'm not even going to
Oh.
attempt. I've tried before.
Okay.
Don't embarrass me.
All right. So we let's try this. Say
Eh?
noi
Noi?
te.
Enoite.
There you go.
Tell
Now,
me something. Is that name Yoruba or Igbo?
none of the above.
Really? Wow.
Enoite.
Enoite.
It's from Akwa Ibom.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it means God's gift, by the way.
All right. I mean, I know that you are of Nigerian descent, so I don't know why I felt that you would be either or of Yoruba or
Hey,
Igbo.
that's what the movies Nollywood tends to make you think.
I know, right?
Right? So
You're bad to think that I stereotyped you. My apologies.
it's okay. It's okay. These things just happen. Eh? But you understand these things. Eh? Hey. So, how was your day, man? Finally good to have you here.
All day I've just been excited to have this moment with you. So it's been a long time coming. Your brother Jason have spoken to me about you, and now we're finally connected. It's just so awesome how our worlds kind of connected. We also know individuals. We have mutual friends,
Yeah.
and it's just awesome how people connect. I mean, I have kept in touch with your brother on social media, and then when he connected me with you, it was like magic. So
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, he's been on my case like you need to have her on your show. He would like come and he was like, "Hey, Nicole." Even this past week, he was like, "Hey, remember?" I was like, "Hey, Jason, she's gonna be on the show this week."
Jason,
like-
thank you so much.
So he's listening. He's listening.
Great,
That's my big
great.
brother. So thank you, Jason. Thank you. All right. So you know, you are a game changer. You're a dancer. You're an artist. You are an activist, so to speak, for art. um, and you're an actress. You are a Broadway person. I mean, I know Broadway involves singing too, but beyond all of that, who is Nicole? Like when you look at yourself in the mirror, who do you see?
Well, I believe I'm a kind and compassionate individual. I believe very strongly in extending my knowledge and sharing with my community. And I found a great balance in using my expertise, my skills, my network in a way of uplifting my community, especially the artist community, young people that are interested in investing in their talent. Or sometimes it's young people that don't even know that they have the talent and they discover that they love art. So I consider myself to be would you say a conduit or a vessel that is used in a certain sense to bring information, to share, and to extend my knowledge to others,
So,
specifically young people.
so having that knack for positively influencing the lives of others is certainly a trait that only not too many people have, especially during these times where we're just so caught up with our lives. But I think that our life experiences seem to shape and bring out these traits that eventually we grow into. So, in your life, what would you say would have generally molded your character into this person that we're seeing today?
I come from a very loving family, and one of my biggest inspirations is actually my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
And she was known to be in the community. Her name was, well, in true essence of the name, she was affectionately known as Mother Gat. Her name is Agatha, Zulma Agatha, but the community called her Mother. And why they called her Mother was because she was the type of person that shared even the very little that she had with the community, and she was well loved as well. And I feel like I come from a family and a culture of people that look out for each other. So I believe it has a lot to do with how I was raised and what I actually saw in action, but not in words, through the people that were very influential to me.
Ah, so can you pinpoint that one pivotal moment that just everything just clicked for you? Like when you knew for a fact this is what you needed to be doing. Like and
It's so interesting because you're playing Fila's music, and I happen to be in Fila's in the show Fela on Broadway.
mhm.
And you know what? In terms of the work that I've been doing and how I discovered myself as engaging in activism, I felt like being a part of a show like that, it almost um, ignited the activist in me. We studied his life, his legacy, his music. We studied Nigerian culture, the
Hmm.
language, the traditions in preparation to do the show, as not characters, but to embody actual people that were also still alive, right? And I feel like that show ignited something in me personally that gave me the inspiration to understand that my life has to mean and stand for something beyond me. And that's how I
Wow.
see Fela Kuti and his legacy, and I feel like being a part of that historical Broadway production shifted something within me as not only an artist, but as a human being. It taught me a lot of about myself in the process. How could I effectively contribute beyond contributing to my own life? And I mean, you don't want a single person that to me exemplifies what that means, which is Fela Kuti. He put his whole life on the line for his country.
Hmm.
So I must say I was very inspired by that experience, and it really shifted and moved something within me that I found the activist within me while doing that show.
Wow. Sweet. I'm interested. Like, did you learn accents and all of that, or?
But we studied like documentaries and stuff that was footage, raw footage of Fela, the Queens. We read a lot, and I have a lot of African friends. Obviously, they all have different accents.
Mhm.
Liberians speak different pidgin English to Nigerians and Ghanaians. So, but really studying the culture. You know, Obviously, as you said, I assume that you were Igbo or Yoruba, but there's hundreds of languages and tribes and cultures even within one country. So, to our best of our ability, we studied a significant amount to be able to convey being Nigerian on stage.
Wow. I
So,
want to I
yeah.
want to ask you, following up on that, what stood out? Like, what did you learn? If there's anything you learned about what it's like to be Nigerian.
Well, I mean, we learned about the complexity of colonization, which
Mhm.
does not necessarily mean that Nigeria is the only place in the world that has been colonized. I could tell you, for one, being in a country or from a country,
Mhm.
I live in America, but being from an island that is still, in a sense, colonized by two countries, France and Holland. Although we would like to believe that it's not colonization, it's very much, to me, a colony still. The way that it is structured, I feel like we're definitely still colonized, and I feel like we're being recolonized. But that's for a whole other conversation. But I really feel when I went to Nigeria, the beautiful part about it is that we had a
Wait, you
couple
went
of
to Nigeria?
yes, I went to Nigeria to
What?
perform. I performed in a shrine,
What?
in Pela Shrine, and yeah, I went to
Oh,
the shrine.
you went to
The first,
Nigeria?
yeah,
Wait.
the first we stayed in Victoria Island
Okay.
in Lagos, and then we went to Abuja. I went to Lekki Market.
Okay.
I felt like I was able to kind of really feel the culture because I also met up with someone that was a dear family friend, Auntie Aduke. She's a Nigerian, and she took me to the market, and I got a very real sense of the place. And that in itself was an education that prepared me to perform,
I'm
really get
jealous.
yeah, I loved it. Nigerians, some of the most brilliant and smartest people I know. And, obviously there's the complexities of poverty and those that have so much and then those that have so little. And then obviously Nigeria has so many resources, talking about oil and all of the above. But then
Mm-hmm.
there's also the extreme poverty. So you really see, um, when you're in the society and you're a part of the fabric of the society for the moment that you're there,
Mm-hmm.
you really feel a part of it, and I feel like we had some time, maybe not long enough time, but I was able to go to the market, really do some social things that was not tourist like with a local,
Good. Yeah.
and it gave me such a great education and experience.
Did you eat jollof rice?
Of course.
Nice. Did you eat suya?
Yes. Excuse me.
Suya. Did you eat suya?
No, I did not, but I don't eat meat. So,
Okay. Sorry, I'll
and
eat it for you.
Nigeria, they
More
eat a
for
lot
me.
of meat in Nigeria.
More for me. That's
Yeah,
okay.
man. But I loved it. I loved it. It's so funny because I know it's not a Nigerian drink, but everywhere they were serving, I don't drink alcohol either. And everywhere they were serving plum wine or
Palm wine?
Chapman.
Oh
And
yes.
Chapman,
Yes, Chapman
Chapman,
or pump. Yes.
that's what I stick to because I don't drink alcohol. So I was doing the Chapman.
Yeah, I don't drink alcohol either, so we can hang on that note. So we know we do share a bit of a similar history, because I left Nigeria for Chicago at the age of 17, and you left St. Martin
That's
for New York at 15. Um, what type of culture shock did you encounter?
oh
Mine,
man.
mine was mine was crazy because I just didn't understand how people the reasoned. People made fun of me. People had
Yeah.
all these stereotypes, and but I'm assuming yours may or may not have been as drastic. But what was yours? What was your experience?
It was definitely culture shock because I actually moved to Virginia when there was the blizzard of 2015,
Mm, okay.
and we literally was locked indoors because we had snow days we had like 2 weeks of snow days, and I had never experienced snow before, and literally the snow was up to the waist. We were completely snowed in for nearly 2 weeks. We didn't have school, and then the weather, the extremes of the weather, and obviously the culture too. I also lived in Fairfax County, Virginia, and at that time, now it's definitely more of a melting pot. You could find many other cultures there, but when I was there, we were the only people of color in our area, in the neighborhood. And so it was very interesting to have or being in a school where there's over 1,500 children and only 12 of us were of color.
Mm,
So, you know, then also having an accent. And then once someone hears an accent and they think it's Jamaican.
yep.
So it's so funny, yeah, so, I learned also so much about myself, leaving my direct environment, leaving home at a young age. Also, living with family was also a nice little cushion because although there was a factor of the culture shock, I came to live with a family, so that was definitely a beautiful experience to be living with family. But there was definitely culture shock, definitely.
Man, yeah. Mine was like I said, making friends was a challenge. Even though I was on a track team, it just was just weird. And I had to change how I spoke. I didn't go by Anoite. I went by my middle name, Larry. Ugh, don't really,
Wow. So
yeah.
you went with the American name or the
Yeah,
Western name?
yeah. Well,
Right.
well, I had the first coming in Chicago, and the second coming in Chicago, I went by my first name. So the second coming took place in 2008. And when I first got there, my then boss was like, "Okay, what do you want to be called, Larry or Anoite?" I said, "You know what, call me Anoite." I took ownership of my name. So you'll find a subset of people who call me Larry and a subset of people who call me Anoite.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and in terms of where you lived, did you feel like there was a pocket or a small population of Africans or Nigerians where you were?
No. I lived on campus, and there was a Black Students Union, which was very different from it just was different.
Yeah, the culture is different. I mean, we may have the same skin color, but we have a different culture, different language, different food, different traditions.
Yeah,
So we're not one dimensional. So I found myself actually gravitating to international students. So a lot of
yeah.
my time was spent on the table at lunchtime with all of the foreign exchange students. Because we had a commonality. We were immigrants in a country
Yep.
facing some of the same challenges. So I gravitated towards the international group of kids. So
So at some point, New York became a thing. Why New York? What drew you to New York?
well, as I said, I lived in Virginia when I was in high school, and then
Hmm.
I auditioned for Tisch School of the Arts, which is
Oh,
NYU's Conservatory for the Arts. And
okay.
I auditioned for the dance part department. And so that's what took me to New York is that NYU was actually my first choice for university. And I got in and I loved my experience in New York. And I mean, in a sense, New York is like the mecca for artists. So
Yeah.
um,
Hmm.
yeah, so I feel like I definitely belonged here. When I came for my audition, I had such a sense of, oh wow, this is where I need to be, you know? And I haven't left. I mean, I did a lot of traveling as an artist. So I traveled many, many years around the world, touring Europe, Asia. Obviously, I went to Nigeria. It's the only African country that I've been to. So I'm trying to change that. I want to go to more countries in Africa. But I was able to travel the world at a very young age for many years on tour with various shows and productions. And New York is home base. Although St. Martin is first home where the heart is, the family is,
Hmm.
New York is my second home.
Yeah, I say the same about Chicago. That's my home away from home. So what would you say? Because sometimes in my life, when I look at where I am now,
Hmm.
I I I like to connect dots and see, okay, if it hadn't been for this move and that decision, I wouldn't be where I am now. Do that. Like, what would you say were the right steps, the right moves that led you to where you are today, at least geographically or even professionally? What were some of those moves that you can recall happening? It might have been a disappointment. It might have been somebody meeting somebody, somebody introducing someone. What would you say?
You know, I left St. Martin to spend the summer vacation with my cousins. And I have one cousin actually, and we're the same age. And so I visited my cousins for the summer vacation. And I was already at a place, and it may sound a little, I don't want it to sound egotistical, but I had gotten to a place within my creative self where I felt like I had hit a wall and I really wanted to grow more. I was in the advanced level classes in dance in St. Martin, and I really felt the need to leave, you know. And I remember coming home that summer to my parents and begging them to ask my aunt, Tessie, who basically raised me when I left St. Martin. I remember asking my mom if I could ask her to take care of me to that I could live with them. And she did not hesitate to say yes.
Hmm.
And that was life changing for me that summer because there was something about being in a space that was foreign
Mm-hmm.
and where I saw like infinite possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when I was home, I felt like there was a lot of things that I couldn't really expand upon because of limitations. And not to say that you can't grow at home, but I had already started to kind of get a little bored and I hit kind of a little bit of a wall. So
Ah.
I really felt like I needed to leave. And it was the best decision because I always think to myself, if I was not that curious kid that loved to be in a position or in a lot of ways, I work very well with discomfort. Um, and it tends to push me in ways that I can't really explain. But I think that's also an artist thing, right? It's that we sometimes in extreme situations, we create the most brilliant things. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I had hit that wall and I felt like I had to kind of break through. And taking that leap of faith and being uncomfortable, dealing with cultural shock, all the weather conditions that are different, all of these things needed to happen for me to kind of evolve into the person that I am in today.
I
And
like
then
that.
obviously,
I like that.
sometimes this discomfort is actually sometimes the best tool of invention. And I think people say that also about desperation, like desperation leads to like invention. So it's almost like I was so eager to leave. And I'm so happy that I had that burning desire to leave because that moment shifted something within me as a child. And I was happy that I had the support and the family that said, we'll take you in and
That was a big
we'll
move.
take you in. Yeah.
Because if they said no, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
Yeah,
But
and governor's school too. Once I went to Virginia, I auditioned for governor's school in the summer, and it's a pre-college program. And that also blew my mind because, at that age, you're starting to think about college, what direction you want to go in, whether I wanted to do more art or go to a conservatory program or go more academic. And actually being able to represent the county of Fairfax County in the state of Virginia at Governor's School, which is held at the Richmond campus, Richmond University campus, that pre college program did something to me as well. And that's where I actually learned more about NYU because there was like a presentation evening with various colleges there, and we could ask questions. And NYU's programs stuck out for me. So that was life changing.
what amount of those are many dots that led to
I'm
you to
sorry, kind
that's
of
that's
rambled on there.
no, that's fine because you touched on something because you said these extreme situations created opportunities for you to excel. So I see Broadway as one of those extreme situations because you have to sing, you have to act, you have to dance.
Correct.
And it's difficult alone to do a show where you have to do just one of those.
Correct.
You have to do all three live, no
And
takes.
you know what? I started out as, I mean, I called myself
Yeah.
a dancer and I didn't see myself other than that. And it's interesting how, as you evolve and you claim the name of artist, and I don't take that lightly because I do consider myself an artist. I try my best to explore and to learn new things and to have, um, a full-rounded education. Like right now, I'm taking classes in Quora. I'm also taking Imbira classes. So I feel like as an artist, we're constantly trying to push ourselves to the next level. So I actually started out as a dancer, and I always loved singing as a child.
Hmm.
I competed in chorus in high school, um, in American high school. We did like the Busch Gardens, the theme park competitions, and so I always loved singing, but I would always consider myself a dancer. And it wasn't until I started attending auditions and pushing myself and showing up for musical theater auditions where I would have to act, I would have to dance, and I would have to sing. You know.
Wow, I want to know more. I want to know more. So tell me, right? What are the challenges that you face performing live like that, especially with that show with Fela? Do you face challenges while like? Do you have a sore throat sometimes? Do you want to cough? I mean, what?
Well, and in live performance and live theater, that is why it's the most challenging,
Yeah.
because everything is happening in lifetime and there's no moment to second guess. It's always about staying present and true in the moment. And accidents do happen. You may get injured on stage.
Yeah.
Someone might skip a line and that might interrupt your flow and your
Ooh.
performance on stage. But it's understanding how to navigate through those type of pressures or those type of scenarios, right? And I think with repetition, it trains your ears, your eyes, and you are learning how to navigate in those type of situations because you're accustomed of doing everything in live time. It's not like you can do 100 takes
No.
for a scene on TV.
It's live.
For
That means the
yeah,
practice must be crazy. Hours and stress
correct.
and
Takes a lot of discipline.
frustration. Yeah.
Yeah, takes a lot of discipline. It's the same as being an athlete. We're in the studios for hours rehearsing, physically, emotionally, vocally. So it's a lot. It's a very demanding life.
So what
I
would it
feel like
take?
people.
Go ahead.
Excuse me.
I was gonna ask
I
what it
said I
would take.
feel
Okay.
well. It takes a lot of hard work and determination and consistency. I think right now what I always have to guide young people that I mentor that are aspiring to be artists themselves is that when it gets hard, that's where you lean in even further because the real breakthrough and the real growth happens in those moments. When you shy away from things that challenge you, you're never gonna get to the level of breaking through your fears. You're never gonna evolve and get stronger. So I'm constantly telling young people that I mentor, those moments that you have challenges are actually gifts. It's
Mm.
gifts to stretch yourself even further as an artist. So you just have to lean in even harder, train even harder. Don't get lazy. Um, yeah, it takes a lot of will as well, a lot of will. because you have to realize, in a city like New York, you have thousands of people that come here that wants to make it,
Mm-hmm.
so a very small percentile of those people make it. And what separates those people is not always the case, but a large factor is focus, consistency,
Grit.
and drive and grit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've done Broadway, you've done The View, you've done stuff for Beyonce and Alicia Keys and Stella Colbert, and the list goes on and on and on. It means that once Nicole sets her mind to do anything pertaining to the arts, if you open your mouth, you're credible. You'll be listened to and well supported. And all of these seem to have come together towards you creating your foundation. Art saves lives. Now, thing is, I've been heard on several times on this show reminding everyone on a low-key level that we tend to take the arts for granted, when it's in truth
Definitely.
that the arts are what keep us sane, with the movies, with the music, with the
I mean,
pictures,
the
with the
pandemic was our
right.
biggest mirror, right? Like the pandemic
Yes.
showed people that they rely solely on being entertained in some way to keep sane. You
Yes.
know, everybody was Netflix, Hulu.
Yes.
I mean, you're using these platforms and all of this, and it's creative people that are
That's
actually
it.
inspiring you and showing you that although this is happening, we're gonna be okay. Like, we're the storytellers, we're the historians, we're
Yeah.
keeping track of what's happening. It's the storytellers and the artists that are actually keeping track of history,
So art saves
and that
lives.
are the storytellers.
Art saves lives.
So
So let's dig a little
yeah.
deeper, because
Mm.
I've seen how you've been able to bring some very talented professionals and influencers to support your foundation. And there's something that you guys do every summer for kids. Am I
Correct.
correct? What's that
So
about?
every summer we have a magnet program that happens during the summertime. It's a week-long magnet program. And the program, what I do is I bring world-renowned artists from around the world. Most of them live in New York and LA,
Wow.
but they come from various parts of the world, and they're here actively engaged in their craft. And I bring my network, the people that I've worked with, from ranging from the director of the Juilliard School, who's Alicia Graff, who is the
Wow.
dean of dance,
Big
the dance
people,
division
man.
at Juilliard. This year, she's coming as an honorary teacher. I have 21 teachers on staff this year.
Wow.
The program is a program that's eclectic, so it's not only performing arts, but it's visual arts. We also have mindfulness classes. That is at the base and the foundation of my programming, mindfulness practices. So, teaching young people the importance of body, mind, and spirit alignment. It has nothing to do with religion, but a lot to do with how important it is to be balanced. And teaching them classes such as, the art of social media, blogging and vlogging, how they can monetize on positively on social media. Also teaching them the business of show business. We also have a class called the Art of Business and Technology that is
Wow.
actually an instructor who works with Google. He
What?
comes every year to give a seminar.
Wow.
And we have, I mean, the list of classes, it's not just, dancing. It's so many different. There's visual arts, there's painting on canvas. Um, there's at one year we actually had a producer from Sony Latin Records. He taught music and technology. We have jewelry making and entrepreneurship, teaching young people when they create something, how they could market brand, how they could, pitch their product, how they could make money off of art. Because a lot of times too, what I'm trying to do with the organization is really trying to educate my community to value the arts.
Mm-hmm.
There's one thing to say, that's nice, but treat it as a pastime. But how do you educate your community to really value not only the art, but the artist? So I see my organization as more of a movement, um, and teaching how to value the art.
So you're doing some cross pollination right now, because I know that you've touched base with our newly minted Nevis ambassador and also entrepreneur extraordinaire Genevieve Hanley. Um,
Yes.
how have they been? Like how and why? How did you get it?
Well, the organization, in my mission, I stress on arts and education, but also cross cultural arts engagement.
Mm-hmm.
So over the years, from since 2013, we've engaged in having young people from Anguilla. We had a group of kids from Anguilla. We had a group of kids from St. Bart's. We had young people that came from Florida. So I love the concept of exploring cultural education, like tourism, but on a cultural focus. And so
Mm.
I'm excited because Nikiva Stapleton just became Nevis tourism ambassador.
Yeah.
And she approached me and she said, I would love to get some Me Vision and Kitchen kids here. I would love to see how that could be possible. So what I did is I had a presentation which I had gotten done for Miss Genevieve Hanley, who's with the
Yeah.
LEAP program in Nevis
Yes.
and St. Kitts.
Yeah.
And right now, I'm just hoping that if anyone's listening, that they hear me and they know that she is probably going to be sending letters out to Nevis and St. Kitts to sponsors to be able to have the kids come to St. Martin. So we're hoping to host 12 young people from Nevis and St. Kitts through LEAP in partnership with Art Saves Lives. And
Nice.
it's a great experience. The kids get to interact with sometimes young people they would never come into contact with,
Mm-hmm.
and you never know the lifelong friendships develop from that, and we learn from each other, so I'm
Wow.
excited about that, very
I'm
excited.
excited
And
too.
Nikiva Stapleton have been a teaching artist with Art Saves Lives from she was not there for the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
She was not there for the first initial programming, but she's been there for the past 8 years, and the organization is on its ninth year this summer. So
Wow.
I'm so excited, and I know, based on Miss Henley's conversation with me, she seems very excited as well.
Oh, she gets excited at anything art, anything
Mhm.
creative, anything that's just different from the norm. She's one of the people I would take ideas to, and she validates everything so far that I've been doing. So, she's a
And you know
good,
what I want to say? Like, I went on to your website, stuffy.com,
sweet.
and recently I didn't talk to you about this, but recently I had a program, our first program within the public school system, where we explored the art of illustration, teaching young
Mm.
people how to put their words to create books, to make book covers, how to create their words into images. And I was seeing how close in alignment your program is with mine, understanding that it is important that, we encourage young people to be creative and that
Yep.
they can also be creative and create their own work with guidance. And I was
Yeah.
noticing on your website that you've created a whole platform where you're actually instructing them to, use their pens, their crayons, and with whatever they create, it can be digitalized. And
Yep.
that is such a brilliant concept.
Aw, you're making me blush.
No, man, we're on the same page.
Making me blush.
I learned so much with the Art of Illustration program because our kids have so much to say, and I love reading, and I encourage young people to read, but I think it's just as important for us to tell our own stories. And so storytelling is so important for me. And for the first program, the first launch of our public school program to be in Art of Illustration, where kids get to really dig into what they're feeling, express themselves, speak on their own stories. I think that is so important and so imperative for even the culture. Our kids have a voice and they should be encouraged to tell their stories.
You're giving me so many ideas for summer.
Great.
You give me so many ideas because my daughter, believe it or not, she's responsible for 95% of those illustrations you see on the gallery on stuffy.com.
Wow.
Yeah, she's a doodler. In fact, just as I was prepping for the show, she came and gave me more work. She's daddy, transform that. So she's like my
Wow.
boss.
That's
She's
great.
she's actually our chief imagination officer, and
Wow.
art
Wow.
literally is influencing her life. Like that's what she does. She's not in front of a screen 24/7. She is wanting to draw, and
Wow,
yeah.
that's beautiful, and I think we got to encourage that more because what I'm seeing also with technology, it's also as much as there's pros to being technologically savvy,
Mm-hmm.
there's so many cons, kids are losing how to really spell, to really write proper sentences. They are having challenges with thinking critically. And that's a problem because why? technology and the advancement of technology has kind of posed a disservice in so many levels, whether it is how they communicate socially as well as their education level. They rely on spell check. There's
Mm-hmm.
so many cons with technology as well. So it's good that she's getting in there and she's scrapbooking and she's doodling and she's using her hands, because I think that is so important for the development of a child's mind, and the way that they communicate is that creativity. I mean, every human being, as much as people may say they're not creative,
They are.
in some way or the other, they have some source of
Yep.
creativity.
We started drawing before we could write as children.
Yeah, and sometimes you start dancing and moving before you can stand.
Right. So, well, this person here cannot dance. I got two left feet, so I didn't get that. Okay. People say I'm doing football drills when I'm dancing. I don't know if that's
Oh
true.
no, how could you be Nigerian and not know how to
I
dance, man?
God decided not to bless me with that. Otherwise, I would have taken over the world by now. He gave me everything else but that, and I'm okay. It's given me something to work towards. So hopefully, if I'm blessed with that opportunity to get married, I will actually learn how to dance so that my wife doesn't
Yeah, you
leave
gotta
me.
get, gotta get with it. You gotta get with
Yeah,
it.
she can't tell me I'm divorcing you because you can't dance.
She might say she's divorcing you because you have two left feet.
Yeah. So at least I know someone who has learned how to dance and has danced in Broadway and for Stephen Colbert and Beyonce and Alicia
Well, let me
Keys,
tell
and
you
I
something.
know somebody who can just
Oh,
wave her
let me tell
magic
you
wand and say,
the most meaningful work that I've ever done is actually the work that I'm doing now. Like when you see the effects that, art and just actually witnessing young people become confident in themselves, and expressing themselves, there's no better reward than, like, witnessing that, and that has been, to me, my life's purpose. I feel like with the work that I'm doing now, it's more or less my life's purpose. I feel like I'm walking in my purpose when I'm working with the kids, when I'm working in the organization with the projects, so the ideas that I have, the themes that I come up with every year. How do I, build confidence? How do I start to make them think deeper about their work that they're creating? Like this year, the theme is, building legacy, leadership in art. How do we teach our kids to be leaders? How do we instill in them that whatever they create, if they happen to no longer be here physically, that it's going to live on, and that it's going to have like a positive effect on their community or in the world at large. So that's, to me, the most meaningful work. Like I tend to brag more about this work that I'm doing now than all of the other things that I've done in the past,
yeah, because it's impacting more lives and more
than
people.
myself.
Right. Actually,
Correct.
I'm gonna resonate with that because my goal in all my entrepreneurship exploits is to increase value for as many people as possible. I want to increase that sense of value for as many people as possible. That's my goal. It's not chasing wealth, it's actually creation of value for as many
Yeah.
people. And that's everything that I'm doing is centered around that. And I've
Yeah.
understood that that's what really we should be doing in life, because when you increase the value for many people, they will not let you suffer. You understand?
Yeah.
They
You know
would
what,
you would
too?
not
I must
want
mention.
for anything.
Yeah, I must mention too. Like I actually went onto your site testimony,
Ah,
and I just love it's in so much alignment of what we do with the kids. As I said, the first class that they have in the morning is called Mind, Body, and Spirit Alignment. It's basically mindfulness. So it's called their mindfulness class, right? And just teaching them the power of their thoughts and their words and the power of visualization,
thank you.
you know teaching them methods of meditation that is so good for like working amongst anxiety, especially with COVID and the hurricane that many islands experienced
Oh
a
yeah.
couple of years ago.
2017.
you know Kids have dealt with a lot of trauma,
Yeah.
and we don't realize that they're carrying trauma throughout their lives, without really getting the right proper therapy. So a part of the programming has a lot to do with like affirmations and teaching them about their worthiness. One of the mantras that we say is I am here, and I am worthy. So we are all worthy. And, so I just love that even when you sent me the link to your testimony site, just a couple of lines that I read in the beginning, I was like, wow, this is in such alignment with
Aw,
what I do, you know.
thank you. You're making me blush again.
No need to blush, is the truth.
We are actually down to one more minute, but we're gonna go over by about 3 or 4. But I wanted to give you
Right.
the time because I see you have a litany of sponsors. My goodness, you were able to get a whole list of people to support you because you're credible. But I want you to tell me who are those who are the most pivotal in getting you to where you are and supporting what you're doing, that aligning with your very inner thoughts and everything that you're doing. Who? What is it? Who? Where? What?
Well, I send letters of sponsorship to every single local business, but I must say I've been so blessed to have the support that's consistent from the tourism ministry on
Ah,
that side. And this year, I've engaged more with the friend side, and I'm hoping that they support because we allow all young people on the island to partake. And so it doesn't matter what side of the island you come from, but local businesses, the electric company, GBNV, Telem, UTS, um, UNESCO. This is the second time that UNESCO is engaging in partnership with Art Saves Lives. We have the head of culture, who is Miss Clara Rice, and she is basically the gatekeeper of our culture and our folk dance and song. And so I make sure, although I have all these incredible teachers that come from away that teach these beautiful art classes,
mhm.
varying from dance to visual arts, that we also have our local culture involved in the programming so that the young people also have cultural pride um, as they're learning as well. Like that their culture, their tradition is just as important and imperative to learn in the programming. So I'm excited about the partnership that we have with UNESCO. You know, um,
Nice.
over a course of a couple of years, we also had a very nice partnership with JetBlue, but our
I-
contact there is no longer there, so
Oh,
we don't have that contact anymore. But we've had, great sponsors in the past. Um,
yeah. I hope to come on board as
so many.
one of these days because
Thank you. I
I
feel like I'm placed on a spot because I don't have my list of sponsors, and it kind of puts me in an awkward position because I don't want to forget anyone, and people think that I'm being ungrateful.
no,
But
it's okay. I put you on the spot and you did it very well.
we also have like arena based cafe, which is like a cafe that we serve on premises every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We also have a great partnership and relationship with Domino's Pizza, so the
Hmm?
kids get Domino's Pizza at the end of the day, and then for lunch they get hot heated meals and from arena based cafe, and then they get beautiful breakfast, beautiful layout of breakfast from breakfast boxes. So there's a lot of companies and law firms like BDO, um, different banks, Windward Island Bank, Oracle Bank, a lot of different banks that have um, First Caribbean Bank, that have
Mm.
given to us in the past. And I'm just waiting around now for people to respond to my letters of sponsorship, to help me make the summer possible.
Wow, we are pretty much at the end. But before we go, I normally have a rapid fire session, just 10 questions. I ask
Oh,
them in first person. You just answer them. If you don't want to, you just don't. Just go to the next one. And that's it. So, you ready? You ready?
I hope I'm ready.
Of course, you were born ready, man. Come on. Number one, I know I'm amazing because it's you. Like, you.
Because I'm a child of God.
Oh, sweet. Number two, my superpower as a woman is.
My big heart.
Wow, I like that. First thing that comes to mind when I hear these words, Lin Manuel Miranda.
Innovative.
Ah, fast talker, fast rapper. All right, for me, this is what it takes for a date with me to warrant a call the next day.
Oh my goodness. What
Yeah,
kind of questions are these, man?
rapid fire. You don't have to answer it.
Person. I'm joking.
Okay,
I pass on that.
we're passing that. Oh, you want to give out your secrets? No problem. Number five. Someone comes and says, hey, you have two doors. One leads to Michelle Obama, the other leads to Oprah. Which do you take?
I would say it leads to Oprah.
Okay. Number 6, you can always make peace with me if you bring me this meal.
Roti.
Roti. Okay.
That's
Number
my
7,
favorite.
I can't wait to visit this country again.
Oh, I love Singapore.
Ooh, okay. Number 8, if a movie was made about my life, this is who I'd want to play my character and why. I'd say Jada Pinkett, but
I love Amelia LaRue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see what you
I
did
think
there. Yeah,
I could see Amelia LaRue.
I can see Jada
I think she's
Pinkett.
a brilliant artist, and she's also a beautiful singer as well as she dances as well.
I see Jada Pinkett because of her hairstyle. All right, number 9. This, when all is said and done, this is what I want my legacy to be.
Well, I want my legacy to be about uplifting young people and having them have the courage to discover their true voice and creating their own lane.
And number 10, I was asked this question. Best part about being on this show is drum roll.
Speaking with you.
Sweet. Thank you. You make me blush again. Yeah. We made it.
Thank you so much for offering this platform and allowing me to speak freely and share my opinions and share my organizations with Synkits. How you doing, Synkits? What's up?
We doing good, man. Oh, my producers want us to know if you've ever been here, and if not, then
I've never been here, but the lady that basically raised me as a kid from since I was 3 years old. Her name is Anna Farrell. She's like my second mom. She's from Mansion Synkits.
Huh?
She's from Mansion.
Oh.
In Synkits. Yeah.
So
she's like my second mom.
So when you come, you will have to go on a visit Mansion. I'll take you there personally.
All right, great.
Well,
thank
people,
you so much.
Thank you so much for creating good energy. I was happy to talk to you yesterday, and I'm even happier tonight. And
awesome.
It's gonna last me for the rest of the week. So thank you once again, and I always remind everyone before we go to continue to be kind and to spread love. See you guys next week.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
If you want to go wash, what are you going to use? If you want to cook soup, now what are you going to use? If your head is hot, now what are you cool on?
Experience the value. Get the cable's value bundle today. Internet, Ultra TV, free HBO Max, and a free Cable Platinum Loyalty MasterCard for only $157 monthly. Feel the thrill of 74 channels of Ultra TV. Feel the rush of the cable's 35 megabyte Bolt Internet. Maximum streaming entertainment is free with HBO Max and the ultra convenience of the Platinum Loyalty MasterCard. Shop, save, share, and don't forget, get a free internet upgrade when you pay your cable bills with Platinum Loyalty MasterCard. Not a cable customer? Sign up today and get more out of your internet, TV, shopping, and payment experience. The cable's value bundle, Ultra TV, internet, free HBO Max, and Platinum Loyalty MasterCard at $250 value for only $157 per month. Call the cable 465-2588 and come experience the value.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
The symptoms of the coronavirus are similar to those of the common flu or cold, which are consistent coughing and sneezing, fever that does not go away, and difficulty breathing. If you are experiencing any of these symptoms, it is advisable to stay at home until you recover, or if you want to go to your doctor, call first and tell your doctor of your symptoms, any recent travel or contact with travelers. And lastly, please avoid spitting in public. Recent cases have shown that people most likely to be at risk if they contract the virus are persons over age 60 and persons that have an underlying medical condition such as hypertension, diabetes, kidney disease, or a respiratory condition. It is advisable to avoid large crowds or other places where you might have to come in contact with people who are showing signs of the coronavirus. This is a message from the Ministry of Health and the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA.
Bust a move. Door busting savings happening now. Horsford's Automotive is busting loose. Huge door busting discounts on all 2020 Nissan Urban 16-seater buses. Bust loose with as much as $25,000 off on all 2020 Nissan Urban 16-seaters. Yes, up to $25,000 off on all 2020 Nissan Urban 16-seater buses. But that's not all. Down payment busted. Absolutely no down payment. Payment on bill of sale. Busted. No payment on bill of sale. Payment on servicing for 12 months. Busted. Free servicing for 1 year. Buy groceries on gas for up to 3 months. Your choice. Busted. Your choice of absolutely free groceries or gas for 3 months. Payment on registration and licensing, tinting and accessories. All busted. That means they're totally free. Horsford Automotive is busting loose with its Bus a Move sales event on all 2020 Nissan Urban 16-seater buses. Bus a Move and get your new 2020 Nissan Urban 16-seater today for as much as $25,000 off. Bus a Move now at Horsford Automotive. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Oh, mama, don't cry, mama, don't cry no more. Oh, bitter days are there for sure. Wipe those tears from your eyes. I will be the only pour. Mama, don't cry no more. Oh, bitter days are there for sure. Wipe those tears from your eyes. I will be the only pour. Mama, so many times we go through days without food to eat. Mama, so many nights we sleep in a bundle like a flock of sheep. Mama, I know what it feels like to have a holy shoes on my feet. So mama, don't cry, cause I know I'm gonna make you bitter turn sweet. Mama, don't cry no more. Oh, bitter days are there for sure. Wipe those tears from your eyes. Oh, I will be the only reaper. Oh yeah, I admire the time you stood by me through rough and through bad times. Mama, scold me when I've been wrong and say, Egyptian, don't want you to travel in the wrong direction. I wish every mother in the world was just like you. Your loving is so kind. Oh yes, my mama, your loving is so true. So mama, don't cry no more. Oh, bitter days are there for sure. Wipe those tears from your eyes. I know I better hungry for you poor. Mama, don't cry no more. Oh, better days are there for sure. Wipe those tears from your eyes. I will be the only poor. Yeah. So many times we go through days without food to eat.